Why would I spend £200 to £600 on tickets to Manchester when I could go abroad?
4 thin slices of turkey, £3.50. Daylight robbery.
We're working to have to pay for the childcare and the transport to go to work, to pay for the roof over your head, that you're never in the freaking house anyway because you're at work.
There's no cost of living crisis. It's now greed, guys. Okay? It is greed, plain and simple.
Look, we need to talk about something that's driving people absolutely mental across Britain. 5 people just broke down exactly why they can't afford to live in their own country anymore. And every single story they're telling, it's the same bloody system squeezing ordinary people dry while someone else gets rich off it. Can we label these as bad choices? This is about a rigged game where working harder just makes you poorer.
My friends from other countries are completely shocked when I tell them I don't visit any other places outside of London in the UK. I'm not talking about the close ones, I'm talking about like the further away ones. Now, this is not for not wanting to visit them, but simply because it costs a small mortgage to travel anywhere within this little island. Can we talk about the train prices? Ridiculous. It's not accessible to us. Because why would I spend £200 to £600 on tickets to Manchester when I could go abroad all inclusive? Not for the day, but for a full week. Not for a little weekend, but a full week. Of course, it might be a bit tatty for that price, but you know what I mean? Like, why would I do that? I would rather do that. And don't even get me started about how ridiculous our train services are and how they're so expensive. Who can afford to do anything here? Look, it's a little over it's been like 30 degrees. Trains don't work. When it's cold, trains won't work. When it's raining, trains aren't working. Delayed, cancelled. What kind of service are we actually getting? And on top of that, there's always another strike. Every other week, like, it's ridiculous.
She's absolutely right to be furious. UK rail fares rose 4.9% in England in 2024, and that's after the government generously capped what was supposed to be a 9% increase. A return ticket from London to Manchester can easily cost £200 to £400, depending on when you book. But here's what she's really describing: economic segregation. You literally cannot afford to see your own country. Meanwhile, a budget airline can fly you to Spain for £30 because they've got economies of scale and EU competition laws keeping prices down. Who benefits from expensive UK transport? The private train companies that were handed our public railways for free, then allowed to charge whatever they want while the government subsidizes their losses. It's socialism for corporations, capitalism for us, the passengers.
So let's get this right. We're paying on public transport or our cars or whatever to go to work, paying childcare so we can go to work, but we're working to have to pay for the childcare and the transport to go to work, to pay for the roof over your head, that you're never in the freaking house anyway because you're at work, to be taxed on the work that you're doing and lose so much money, to be taxed on everything else that you buy, to not be even able to afford a holiday. And you could only holiday in the half term if you've got children, which is like triple the amount. Got your kids in a system that completely dumbs them down whilst you're at work being made a fool of. No family time because you're at work. I mean, those people have benefits ain't looking too silly, are they? They're at home, they're with the children, they're being a family. They can go on holiday if they wanted to without being a family. They probably can't afford it, but they could do it. Like, I think everyone that works is just looking stupid right now, aren't we? What are we working for? I mean, I'm on maternity right now, but we're working because it sets the tone. We're showing our children morals and like the work ethic, but we look fucking dumb.
This woman has just described the poverty trap in mathematical terms. Let's break down her impossible equation. You work to pay for, transport to get to work, average £79 per week. Childcare so you can work, average £300 to £600 per week. Housing you're never in, average £400 to £500 per week, rent and other costs, all while getting taxed on everything you earn and buy. She's hit on something profound. People on benefits might actually have more family time and life satisfaction than working parents. That's not because benefits are too generous, it's because wages are too low and living costs are too high. The system forces parents into a choice: be present for your children or afford to house and feed them, but not both.
Okay, I'm sorry. How are Wizz Air charging £125 per person each way to have a cabin bag on a 2-hour flight? That's a joke.
£125 for a cabin bag on a 2-hour flight. That's not good transport pricing. We are being extorted with altitude. This is the unbundling business model. Advertise a from as low as price, then charge separately for everything that used to be included. Your seat, your bag, your dignity, and 2 kidneys. Who benefits? Airline executives and shareholders who discovered they could advertise a £20 flight, then charge you another £200 for the privilege of bringing clothes and arriving on time.
What in the broken Britain cost of living bullshit is this now? We've come back to Sainsbury's. Take a look at this. Here's the first one. Look at this. 4 thin slices of turkey, £3.50. Daylight Robbery, £2.50 a pop on these vile products. £2.50. They're worth no more than a nickel. Pure dirt. Fuck me, what's happened to the price of stuffing? That was £1 all day long. We're back at it. The robbery on the gravy train. Wow. £4 for the little one. Unreal. Absolutely unreal. They're all £4. Look, the little ones. Every single one. You've even got £4 on the bisto, on the normal bisto. You're better off to get the best. £3.35 for some sliced chicken tikka breast. There ain't even a full breast there. That ain't even a full breast. For £3.5 nickel. Joke. Still got the natural yogurts at £5 and £5.50. They are taking the piss. Since when did they jump up? I ain't clocked these yet. The standard Sainsbury's cheesecakes, nearly a £5. Only small and all. Eggs, there ain't no happy about that. 41p an egg, taking the piss. So there we go, there's Sainsbury's, taking the piss as usual with the high prices.
This man is doing what food journalists should be doing, actually documenting the daylight robbery happening in British supermarkets. £3.50 for 4 slices of processed turkey, £5 for a glass of Coke. The thing to note about corporate wetball greed, it's not random. The richest fifth of households are actually spending more on premium food while everyone else gets priced out. Inflation? No. It's class segregation through pricing. Supermarkets have worked out they can charge whatever they want because you still need to eat. And if you can't afford the premium stuff, well, that's what processed foods and meal deals are for. Who benefits? Supermarket shareholders who've seen record profits while families skip meals. Food suppliers who've discovered supply chain issues and realized that these are great excuses for permanent price hikes.
So guys, everyone's moaning about the cost of living, the cost increases throughout the range of everything that we know in the UK. Every month something's been going up, increasing costs, your subscriptions, your banking, whatever. Everything's going up and we've had enough. But yet no one's doing anything about it. So I'm going to break this down really quickly because people get bored very quick on here. So just hear me out, please, because it's important for us to make a change. Right, it's going to cost the UK economy around £2.5 billion to have an extra bank holiday. Apparently that's what it costs per bank holiday, around 19 billion a year in bank holidays. Anyway, guess what, guys? Hashtag Boycott Day UK. 1 day per month where we don't spend any money. Go to work, do the necessities, do the things you have to do, but don't go buy food, don't pay for petrol, don't buy the coffees, don't buy your lunch, make lunch at home. Stop spending for 1 day per month. Watch how quickly we help to reset this disgusting greed which is going on in the UK, because there's no cost of living crisis, it's now greed, guys. Okay, it is greed, plain and simple. If you're going to moan about it, do something about it. If you're not going to do anything about it, I don't want to hear about it. Okay, because we have the power. We should bring the control back to us, the people whose hard-earned money is being spent and being taken the pee out of. Because I just took my daughter out. It was £5 for a glass of Coke. £5 for a glass of Coke in Prezzo's. I can't do it anymore. So I've gone through all my subscriptions, I've changed things, I've cancelled things. We're not even doing a summer holiday because of the cost, because it's ridiculous. 50% is profit. I'm not doing it. So there you go, guys. You want to make a change? Hashtag Boycott Day UK. Make a change one day a month. I don't know how we get this trending, but let's get this going. Let's see how we can make this work, because we can bring the power back to us. Watch a movie called Viva Vendetta, then you'll understand. Enjoy your weekend and stop spending.
This guy gets it. He's identified the real problem. This isn't a cost of living crisis anymore. It's organized greed. And he's proposing the one thing that actually works: collective action. £5 for a glass of Coke at Pret. That's not pricing based on costs. That's pricing based on what people are willing to pay before they riot. His boycott idea isn't new, but it's correct. The only language corporations understand is revenue loss. One coordinated day a month where nobody buys anything non-essential would send shockwaves through every boardroom in Britain. The problem is coordination. Everyone's too busy working multiple jobs to afford basic housing to organize collective action against the system that's bleeding them dry. Here's what all 5 of these people have figured out that politicians won't say out loud. The system isn't broken. It's working exactly as designed. Expensive transport keeps you local and dependent. Unaffordable childcare forces both parents to work. High housing costs trap you in debt. Overpriced everything else ensures you can never save enough to escape. This is extraction capitalism, where the goal isn't to allow you to build wealth, but to extract every penny from you and funnel it upward. UK households now spend £2,700 a month just to cover basic living expenses. That's surviving while someone else profits from your existence. The woman who can't afford to see Manchester. The mum who realizes working parents are getting scammed. The man documenting supermarket theft. The guy calling for boycotts. They're not complaining. They're bearing witness to organized theft. The people in these videos aren't asking for luxury. They want to visit other parts of their own country, spend time with their children, buy food without taking out a loan, exist without being constantly robbed. That used to be called a normal life. Now it's called unrealistic expectations. The solution isn't individual, it's collective. Whether that's boycotts, strikes, or something bigger depends on how much more people are willing to take. But one thing's certain, the current system only works if you keep participating in your own exploitation. Maybe it's time to stop. If you found this breakdown useful, hit that subscribe button. We're building a community of people who want to understand what's really happening behind the headlines. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Are you seeing similar issues where you live? And let us know if these videos are representing your reality. At Common Sense Lab, we don't just react. We connect the dots, expose the patterns, and remind you, the system isn't broken. It's functioning exactly how it was built, and that means it can be rebuilt.